Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Or a good day, depending on where you're from. Welcome back to another live stream. How's everybody doing today? Morning, good morning, good morning. Or a good day, depending on where you're from. Take some time to say good morning to the community. See how everybody's doing. And then we'll get into today's action. See who we have here today. Good morning, Saju. Good morning, Alexis. Good morning, Estros. Good morning, HMH. Good morning, Caesar. Good morning, Maya. Good morning, Kelvin. Tatiana, how are you doing today? Good morning, David. Good morning, Raj. Good morning, Jolly Love. Good morning, Dude, It's Me. Good morning, Nicola. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Darts. Uturo, what's up? Annie, good morning. EZ, good morning. How's everybody doing so far today? How's everybody's week going? Just giving it a few moments to say good morning to everybody before we get into any information here. Good morning, Pierre. Good morning, Tad. Good morning, Vis. Good morning, Francis. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Aoma. Good morning, Dali. Ronnie, what's up? Angelo, how are you doing today? Mitchell, good morning. Raf, good morning. Tasha, good morning. Adlin, good morning. Harry, good morning. Pete, good morning. How's everybody's week going so far? Joshua, good morning. Darkly, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Livy, good morning. Adam, good morning. Kevin, good morning. Rafa, good morning. Mr. B, good morning. Eos, good morning. Let's see how chat's doing so far this week. Throw a 1 in the chat if you're green on the week. Throw a 2 in the chat if you're red on the week. And throw a 3 in the chat if you have yet to trade this week. See how everybody's week is going so far. Good morning, good morning, good morning, or good day, depending on where you're from. Couple 1s, couple 2s. Some more 1s. Couple 3s. Good amount of 1s today. That's good to hear. Very good. Couple 2s. Well, let's get ready for today. Let's make sure to clear our minds. Let's make sure we're objective to price. Prior experiences should not dictate current experiences. Okay, so every position's a new position. Okay, so let's give it the respect it deserves. Let's do our due diligence. Let's get prepared for the market open. Go in and create a game plan so we know what we're looking for the open. Throw your bias in the chat if you'd like to talk about it as I go over my game plan for the day. I'm going to go through the entire game plan first so I could focus up for New York Open. Then we can get into any questions or comments. So let's take a look. First things first, we always start on the economic calendar. Right, so let's get over here to Forex Factory. We did have 8:30 news this morning. There was really nothing that happened there. Was quite uneventful. Take a quick look. Yeah, nothing too aggressive in terms of the news release there at 8:30. Get back over to the economic calendar. So 8:30 was an important time. 9:30 will be another important time. And then you got Powell there at 1:30. So knowing that Powell is going to happen in the afternoon, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some anticipation for that. Now that we understand the important times for the day, we should get ready to create a bias and form a game plan for New York Open. And again, if you'd like to share with us what your bias is for the day, what you're looking for, go ahead and throw it in chat. I'm just going to complete my analysis first, and then we can go through any questions and answers. So what I'm looking at here on the daily is the fact that we invalidated a bearish FVG here. We had a very clear and decisive candle closure above it back on Wednesday of last week. Ever since then, we've been using this area as an area of support. You can see that we came back to test this area 1, 2, possibly 3 times now. So we'll keep an eye on this area, pretty much using it as an if-then statement. Right? If this area provides support for prices, then I'll look for it to reach higher. If we see that they displace right through this and it does not provide any support any longer, then we could look for lower prices. So essentially using the daily as a context, a framework, using an if-then statement to understand how to efficiently react to the next price leg. Either this provides support, and we'll look for it to move to previous week high, or we got to see this area fail. Oh, the arrow is backwards. Hold on. Or we have to see this area fail, and then we can look for previous week low, using this area as our context. Okay, so going to be objective to price today. I don't like to see this. If you saw some of my earlier live streams this week, my attention was on the opening gap that occurred on the Sunday Open. Look at what price did to that opening gap here. Right, so it clearly looks like this is an important area in here. Okay, so we may have to keep an eye on that, just like the daily. The daily providing support is something that I need to look at, or the hourly getting rejected by the opening gap. Right, so we'll leave these on there for now. Some important higher time frame areas that may give insight to the next move. Okay, so essentially a neutral bias. There's really no strongly one-sided bias for today's session. Looking to efficiently react and be objective to price at the opening, using if-then statements. Okay, so throw your bias in chat. We can go over some questions or answers. Just remember, it's best to be independently thinking. It's great that we get to meet and share ideas and provide opinions, but understand that you are the only one that will ever be clicking the buttons for yourself. So take extreme ownership in that. Be an independent thinker Okay? Take extreme ownership in the decisions that you make. And that's going to help you in this business. Okay, so don't let other people's opinions deter your executions. Right? If you find an entry function today that you have conviction in, make sure you manage your risk, because risk is the #1 priority at all times. And focus on being a good executioner. Don't let others deter you from it. So let's see what chat is looking for today. Get back over to the comments now that we have a game plan heading into the open. Going to leave these areas on the chart so that I understand the if-then statements I made during the top-down analysis. We'll see what the open has for us. All right, let's take a look. Bearish, mixed bias, bearish, bearish, up and down. That might be the best bias so far. Bearish to London low, then bullish. Yeah, these equal lows here are definitely intriguing. Right, we know equal lows or equal highs are one of the best forms of drawing liquidity. I do agree with that. And there's no SMT there either, so. Take a look at that as well. Interested in longs only. Good morning, Trader Kira. No confident bias for me. Yep, it's completely okay. You know, there's really a misconception of needing to know where price is going at all times. Reality of the situation is you really only need to be correct about 40% of the time if you're using the correct risk to reward. So it's just a matter of knowing when not to participate in price. And if that's one of those moments, right, if you don't have a confident bias, that'd be a great time to sit out. Right? Like, we don't need to be executing every single day. But being neutral is always okay as well. Being objective to price action, right? The difference would be subjective, being influenced by price action or an idea. So it's also okay to just efficiently react to price. Friendly reminder that your first job as a trader is to protect your capital. Day trading is not everyday trading. Love that, Tyree. I really appreciate the value you always bring to the community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. SMT with YM. Let's take a look at YM. Yeah, there was SMT there at the lows with YM. They were equal lows on NQ and ES, but YM took it out. Very good job. I agree with that, Mr. Gardner. On Monday, I found the unicorn before 9:30. I'm trying to focus on today's New York Open. I'm not going to go over prior trades at the moment. Price action literally just opened up, so my focus is going to be here first. I could come back to that question at another point in time. Ash, have you used RSD or MACD? No, I don't use indicators. I quite literally do everything manually. That's why you guys always see me, you know, painting on these charts. So nothing as of yet. I have nothing that interests me here. Just continuing to wait to see if anything develops. While we're waiting, do me a favor. Like this video. Sub to the channel. If you're looking to communicate with us here in chat, it's sub-only mode. So just sub to the channel. You'll be able to communicate here with us during the live streams. For NQ or ES 5-minute, would you use the 850 or the 910 candle for the breaker? I would be using the 910 candle. Either way, I would not call this a breaker. Price has to clearly displace through it, right? Price is currently trying to test it. Until it clearly and decisively closes past it, I wouldn't call this a breaker. So it's potential, but we have to wait and see. Same thing here on ES, right? So you can see the swing low, swing high, new low, new high. Still needs the candle closure though, so we'll wait and see. Yeah, so that's a weak closure. I wouldn't be interested in looking at this just yet. Don't like that wick at all. ES looks clearly stronger than NQ. We will wait to see if this could develop. Did come from a hourly bullish fair value gap. So like to see that it filled a higher time frame point of interest. They would need to also leave the FVG aligned with the breaker. So still got another 4 minutes before any type of confirmation, but we'll wait and see. I have a question. After an expansion day, is it always followed by consolidation or retracement? First thing I have to say is nothing is ever guaranteed. So using the words like always, let's just make sure that we understand that we deal with probabilities. We don't deal with certainties. Okay, so yes, the logic of thinking after expansion comes consolidation or retracement. Yes, that makes sense in terms of price delivery. But you have to understand that everything that we deal with here are probabilities, not certainties. Okay, so waiting for confirmation right now, though. If we do get the confirmation, then we'll look for all these highs up here as targets. Take a look at what this looks like. Still got another 2 minutes for the confirmation. We'll just wait and see. Give it another 2 minutes. See if we get a confirmed entry function. As we do that, I'm going to take a sip of water. As I'm waiting, feel free to throw any questions or comments in chat. We can go over any information you'd like as we're waiting and watching. All right, thank you very much for your patience. Take a look. Still got another 30 seconds there. Can it be that we don't get many unicorns the last week? I've seen unicorns daily, so I'm not sure what you're looking at, but I've seen many entry functions daily. Can you tell why your bias is bullish? Just go back to the beginning of the episode. I go through my top-down analysis. I mentioned that I was neutral, and then I'm looking to efficiently react to price because I'm neutral, being objective to price, so without influence. Ash, say one thing about the unicorn model that you haven't spoke about publicly yet. I don't keep secrets. I've journaled my entire experience with everybody here, both on YouTube, Twitter, and Discord. So there's no secrets here. Hey Ash, we could have front run this too for ES. No, front running needs to be determined in your game plan of execution before executions occur. You should decide if that's something you want to do beforehand. I wouldn't make it a decision during the process. Right, you should have a set game plan going into the day. You should know exactly how you execute before you even execute. So if that is a preference of yours, then be my guest. Everybody has their own preferences. "20-second delay, is that normal on YouTube Live?" I don't know. I'm not really good with technology. I just turn the stream on and start streaming, so I don't know. What's the average delays people use? Just asking, or do we wait for FVG confirmation? In my opinion, I always wait for confirmation of all of the pieces to the model, right? A stop hunt when price runs below a swing low, displacement through the breaker, right? A clear candle closure above it, and an FVG, right? So the FVG wasn't confirmed until the 935 candle closed, right? So in my opinion, these would be the first entries at 940. Again, everybody's to be an independent thinker, and you should mold the model to your own character, your own traits. So whether you entered right at 935 or at 940, that's what you have to base on your mentality. Are you better at market ordering, or are you better at limit ordering? What type of personality do you have to fit that type of execution style? So it's not a one size fits all. Everybody takes the model, learns it, refines it or makes it easier so that they could have more clarity. And then they review their data to know how they best execute. Where's your point of interest? You got an hourly bullish FVG right here, as it's marked right here, in terms of a higher time frame point of interest. Please have a look at the chart on the 1 minute. No, I just currently pointed to a 5-minute setup. So I'm going to focus on the setup that I'm pointing to. Yeah, those are London highs there in terms of targets. Thank you very much, Tyree. You are the freaking man. Yeah, if we're providing any value here weekly, if you're gaining any value from these streams, definitely do me a favor and like the stream, sub to the channel. We've been running live streams weekly for multiple years now. So I do really appreciate all of the support for anybody that does keep showing up, really providing a lot of value in the community. So thank you. So let's see what they want to do with this position. Multiple entries there. Please understand this is not financial advice. You are to assume your own risk. I'm just here documenting my own journey in the market. Right, so we'll see what this position does. But you are to assume your own risk. Okay? This is my own personal experience of documenting in the market. We'll see what the results are. Position is exactly what's shown on the screen. Right, invalidation is the swing low. Entry was at the beginning of the breaker. See what price wants to do with it. Wouldn't it make sense for price to go lower first? I can't predict the future. I'm being objective to price using risk management. Then I allow the probabilities to play out. So currently at the stage of allowing the probabilities to play out, risk has already been accepted. Everything is shown as is on screen. Ash, any tips on how to control expenses? Yeah, your main source of income should cover all of your bills and your savings. And then you should go get a second job to finance the business. You should never jeopardize family or health to start the business. Just work more. That would be my opinion. right? Let me check. That might be invalidation there. Let me take a look. It is literally the same price. Let's see. Give it a second here. Make sure your orders are correct. Invalidation is exactly what's shown on the screen here. There's no way that they leave me in that. Let's see what happens. Oh, still letting the probabilities play out. That couldn't have gotten any closer. Validation is still exactly what's shown on the screen. See what price wants to do with the breaker. So invalidation is still set. Let's see if they tag it this time. I mean, I would just be astonished at this point if they left me in this. No way that we go perfectly to the level and bounce both times. We will see. Got to let the probabilities play out. See what they give. All right, there's the invalidation there. And that's what we have for today. So, a couple things to talk about here. The best loser wins. Okay? Let's get the mindset right as soon as it happens. Let's understand that losses are inevitable in this business. And that's why we manage our risk. That is why we assume the risk before the risk is taken. Right? So if you allow any losses to induce any kind of intrusive thoughts, such as needing to make that money back, such as changing your model, such as changing your system, it's going to be more detrimental to your process than just finding discipline in your process, realizing that this is just another data point and that this business, it's inevitable to have losses. Okay, so it's more important to be an extremely professional loser, right? Keep your losses small so that your small wins cancel them out. You can never have a large loss because the only way that you'll make progress in this business is your large wins. Okay? Your small losses cross out by your small wins. You can never have a large loss because the large wins are what makes progress. Okay? There's no emotion to be induced by this. You have to accept the loss. That does not mean go back into the market trying to get it back. You have to find conviction in your process. You have to have that emotional and mental stability for this to even be a long-term business. Okay, and the way that I do that is I'll go ahead and I'll document everything that happened here this morning. Right, this is why I do the live stream, so that I have a recording of it, and then I also document it through my communities. So right after this, everybody will see the information shown on Twitter and in Discord so that we can continue talking about the topic. But you have to understand that, once again, risk management is the #1 priority. After I get documenting, the process still remains the same. Still going to go to the gym, right? It doesn't change the way that we operate because it's a part of this business. Continue to find discipline and remain patient. And that's what's going to keep us here in the long run. Okay, so that's what we have for today. A little bit of a shorter stream because we got our position right there at the open. We got a result to the position thereafter. So I'm going to begin to wrap up the stream with that so I can go ahead and finish the documentation. I greatly appreciate everybody being here, and another phenomenal morning. Every single morning is going to be a learning opportunity. We will continue to relentlessly keep working and learning every single week. The results are just a byproduct of that. Okay, so thank you for everybody that came. Thank you for all the questions and comments. Another great morning. I'm going to go ahead and document this in Discord, and I will see you all in the general chat. Hope everybody has a nice day.